Alrighty. Well, okay. You ready?
Okay, I'm gonna be like 100% honest. I do not remember which maps I played on.
Okay.
Because we were swapping in and out a lot.
Sure.
Um, I think I played on Midtown.
Wait,
No,
Midtown. Like.
I know I played on Dorado, but I played Brig.
Okay.
Maybe
I mean,
I
I'm
think
happy to coach
Cervasa
Brig,
I
but
played
I think you
Lucio.
want Lucio here. So.
I think I played Lucio on Cervasa. I know I did on Antarctic,
Okay.
but it was a really bad match, so like I don't know.
I
I
mean,
was
we could
like
look at anything
we
really. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean we can look at both if you want. I was like so we were doing the whole like echo and comms thing and I got like hella overstimulated and it just made me like really distracted and I just played terribly.
That happens,
Um
right? That happens. Like the thing is, though, right?
yeah.
Whenever you do that, you know, you're working on one thing in particular. Everything else
Mhm.
just goes back down to autopilot. It can be a really good way
Yeah.
to look and see where is my floor, where is my autopilot on each of these other skills. So that's something we
Yeah.
could look at if you'd like to. Otherwise, if you'd like to look at something more general, we can look at something more general. It doesn't really matter to me.
I know that what Rav wants me to work on is knowing when to be aggressive.
Okay,
Or like not necessarily knowing when to be aggressive, but
sure.
he wants me to be more aggressive.
Okay, we can talk
Um,
about that. Yeah,
so it might be better to look at Cervasa.
Vasa. Okay.
Um, oh wait, not yeah, that was the last one. Cervasa maybe. But we could. I don't mind looking at Antarctic. Just
No,
know that
we
like
can look
that's
at it.
not my baseline of like how I play.
No, you're good. You're good.
That was
You're good.
the part that was bothering me was that we have one person on our team whose mic is god awful and like he was
Oh,
like screaming the echoing and so like
uh-huh.
I number one couldn't understand who he was calling our target for
Yeah.
and number two couldn't hear anybody else over him to
Yeah,
actually know who our target focus was. And
I
so I was just lost as fuck and irritated the whole map.
fair. Yeah, I've been on teams where we've had somebody who just for some reason decided it's okay to just have a tin can for a
Yeah.
microphone, and it's like, how does your string even connect to Discord? I don't even understand how this works.
Yeah, I'm like I don't even
Um,
know who we're calling right now. I just hear noise.
yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and back this up a little bit.
One. Amp up
All
this
right.
beat.
So before we get into this, then, so this is interesting. So you're saying that what you want to be focusing on anyway, right, is finding windows for aggression. That's
Hmm.
cool.
And
Because
like
that's sort of
taking my own angle and stuff too.
yeah. Great. Because actually, one of the things I wanted to kind of get to. So first of all, just so I have like a little bit of idea, how much Lucio have you experience have you had? Is this like one of your main characters? Is this not?
So I really only play Lucio in scrims,
Yeah.
but I've pretty much exclusively played Lucio in scrims
Okay.
for a couple of months.
Okay.
Just maybe since like February-ish. But at first, in February, I had just swapped to mouse and keyboard too. So like I
Okay.
wasn't just learning the hero, I was learning mouse
Also
and keyboard.
learning. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there was a bit of like a period of time where I was more just learning the movement
Sure.
of Lucio, and
Sure.
that was like my focus. But
Do
then
did you like spend a bunch of time like grinding out like wall riding and stuff like that?
I'm like hella ADHD,
Okay.
which I mean I feel like that's normal for Lucio players.
Mhm.
But I find those wall ride map like modes
Yeah.
extremely boring.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I
I
don't
do
like
know like
honestly like even when I've worked on my wall riding, I've never spent more than a couple of minutes.
yeah.
Just literally like yeah, I totally get it. It gets boring. There are like about 50% of my days, 50% of like my comp days when I'm doing my warm ups, I'll just be like, my warm up today is going to be wall riding, and I just wall ride around for like 2 minutes, and then I go into a match. You know, just enough to kind of refamiliarize myself with a few things. Occasionally, if there's like a tech that I want to practice, something like that, I will go and do that. But again, once I drill it and I feel like I've done it like 4 or 5 times successfully, I'm like, I got it. I'm good. I'm out of here. Like, I'm not going to sit there and drill for 15, 20 minutes. That would be ridiculous. But I guess but overall though, how comfortable do you feel with your wall riding in general?
I feel like in terms of like going from point A to point B, like if I'm like respawning and I'm trying to get back to the team really quickly,
Sure.
I feel like I do really well.
Okay.
In terms of the like neutral fights where you're kind of stationary but trying to stay on the wall, that's kind of where I struggle because I feel
Okay.
like sometimes I'll like slingshot myself in the wrong direction that I
Sure.
was not intending to do.
Sure.
Or I don't know. So a couple of things that I've been told, I love being VODed. So like I've been
Yeah.
VODed a lot. And a couple of the things that I've been called out on are
Yeah.
staying on the floor too much,
Yeah.
hopping too much, which is
Mhm.
me trying to be on a wall but missing
And
the
just
wall, and so I'm
missing it,
just
right.
sitting there hopping.
Yeah.
I had a coach that would literally just message me hip hop in the middle of scrims.
Yeah.
And then also what was the other thing? There was something else. I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
Those are like the
Okay.
main things that I know for sure I struggle with. Oh, and I
Sure.
play very linearly when I'm thinking about my movement. Like I'm more forwards and backwards, and I forget to go like sideways
Right.
and around.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just a real quick thing. Let's see if I can find a spot that'd be good for this. Okay. So this is like a good spot right here. So like, do you know like the corner hop? Like, do you know how to get verticality? Like if you were like if you need like obviously there's no reason to do it here, but like this is a spot where you would just just kind of bop 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 bop
Like
bop,
side to side. Yeah.
you just get solely up. Okay, cool. Because like, that's probably one of the most useful things. That and the fact that like because this is something that like Oblivious had just learned like last time I voted for Mystic. A curved surface is infinite walls, right? So you could also just go literally straight up this tree. So it's like outside of that, I think those are like the two most important things, and then like pretty much it's just kind of like you just kind of have to figure it out. Just a double check. You do have backwards wall ride turned on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, cool. All right.
And I do have the little like bunny hop scroll wheel thing, but I forget to use it a lot.
I actually don't do that. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very, very useful. And if I didn't want to use my scroll wheel for other things, I would totally do it. Because it's basically free. Like I have to like time my space bars when I try to bunny hop, and I actually got pretty darn good at it because I've been doing it for so long. But yeah, it's
I use my
so
side
free.
mouse button as my
Your side mouse
jump.
button. Okay, fair. Everybody, I swear, every Lucio player has their own unique keybinds.
Yeah.
And it's all just, it comes down to like what's comfortable. My crossfade is left click.
Interesting.
Basically, my hands are very dainty and get hurt easily. And so it's too much holding shift.
So I use do you know what, oh freak, what's it called? Razor Tartarus.
I'm not familiar with the mouse specifically. Or is it mouse or is it keyboard?
It's a keypad thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I actually, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I used to have a Belkin Nostromo, which is a very similar like keypad kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's what I use.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if it works for you, that's all good, So
yep.
That's really what a lot of that comes down to. Now, so like it's interesting again that we're wanting to work on like our aggression and solo angles and things like that, because one of the things that I was going to be looking for is I had this like analogy that like Lucio is a lot like a German Shepherd. And there are times where you can be a guard dog, and there are times where you can be more of an attack dog. So if you're looking to kind of break out, do a lot more attack doggy things, then we can certainly look for those opportunities. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and just kind of roll this out. So okay, we're playing the Rhine. That'll be fine.
I'll handle this.
There we go here. So this is a bit of the example of you just kind of floor-COing, right? This is not the worst time to be doing this. I think actually if you watch SK, SK had a video pretty recently about how she plays with her team. And this is pretty much kind of a similar sort of thing. During these sort of like early poke stages, just kind of like just sitting on the floor, throwing shots at head height, not a problem. It's more like once we get toward more like the mid fight that this would be like what we would look to avoid, right? So this is kind of fine for now. This is how you want to play it.
I've also realized I'll bump my head on stuff like that when I'm trying to get through it if I'm on walls.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be just like a comfort thing a lot of times, right? So like, yeah, I would probably say like if you don't want to play Lucio in comp, if it's not something you feel like up to doing, but certainly play some quick play or do something to get some rounds in where you're focusing just entirely on your wall rides. Because like I can understand like it's not necessarily like the proper place and time to be doing that in scrims, you know, but you do need time to kind of to work on some of those things. So I would recommend doing, like I said, if you don't want to play him in comp, I get it. I spent a lot of time playing him in scrims and not playing him in competitive just because ranked teams don't know how to play with a Lucio, frankly.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, I like. Granted, for me, like turning off like team chat and everything, I'm like, I don't care. You guys can't yell at me anymore, and I just do my thing. But
yeah,
it still happens where it's like, oh, okay. So this is actually a pretty interesting, right? So we have. Okay, so our venture's over here. Okay. So we're sort of already starting to spread out, right? So this I think is at a time where things haven't really super developed yet, right? But if you are looking for aggression, now is a good time for that. So like why would now be a good time to set up somewhere else?
Because they have somebody split off from their team and I could be assisting my venture here.
That is one reason. The other reason might be the fact that Lucio's like main reason for being in the team, right, is to move people around. Does your Rhine currently want to go anywhere?
We started to call that we were gonna amp, I think maybe on the Ana, but then we decided to swerve and amp on the soldier because our venture called it out.
Fair enough. Okay, so you guys are going to end up doing that. Okay, that's totally fair. Yeah, if your Rhine was looking to just anchor point here and just force the other team into you guys, because that's a perfectly valid strategy here, right? Like as you're controlling this angle, you could be over here with them. You know, your core could be over here, and like, what are they gonna do? You know, this diva can't really push in,
right?
You know, they would have to try to hopefully push this off angle, which good luck, frankly. But yeah, so okay, but instead your team call that we're gonna go. Okay.
Unlocked.
Okay, so we clear that. We decide we're done. We don't want to move forward anymore. Okay. The diva gets on the back here. This is fine. Honestly, your 1v1 with Tracer is pretty even, unless it's like a bad spot on the map for you. But yeah, this is fine. This is good actually. Getting pincered, unfortunately. So that's probably where a little bit of your just being on the floor is certainly getting getting to you, right? Because like you have this wall right here, right?
Right.
And even just getting a little bit of verticality on the Tracer and being a little bit more unpredictable with your movement would certainly help there. Also, I would probably, in this scenario where you start to push the Tracer and then you look over and you see the soldiers pushing you from further away, I feel like you should just focus the Tracer. Not just because you started with her, but because she's closer, right?
And she already recalled too.
She already recalled as well, exactly. But like, yeah, you're a short range hero. You want to go with what's closer, like 9 times out of 10. So she's here. I'd stick on that. All right, let's just speed things up a little bit.
Check it. Enemy turret ahead.
Regrouping.
To this beat.
Okay. We're gonna bleed through the middle. So right now, Urine's pinning. Do you like this? Do you like this kind of going down, like just kind of with your team here, or is this a time?
No,
where you
ideally I should be like splitting around and then maybe trying to boop them towards my team.
Yeah, that could certainly go right. You could just maybe either kick off this wall or maybe from over here, right, and just try to match the speed with your Rhine. Maybe get a boop on Sojourn here. No, Oh, it's a Yari.
Alari.
Yeah, I'm legally blind, so occasionally I get confused by all these new hitboxes. Additionally, you know, we are close to this Juno.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 1v1 you could probably take at this range if you wanted to. But yeah, either play would work here, right?
I think I end up going for the pylon. That's what I do.
Hey, you know what?
try to
That's safe.
help
That's safe,
that
consistent
healing.
value. It's not bad. Okay.
You want that louder?
I mean, honestly, just mostly mechanics. I think you kind of realized you wanted to be somewhere else, right? I guess the main thing I would say here, though, as far as your decision making process. So we start out over here. We realize that we're not with our team, and we go through point where all of the enemies are to get to our team.
Yeah, I should have just dropped down.
Right? Exactly. Right. You drop down here. You come through here. First of all, she ends up being
Yeah,
here.
I could have.
You know,
I would have
eventually.
seen her.
Right. But like another play you could also do. You don't have to like this. This is a great way to go. You could also just go this way. The main thing just being periphery, right? Just staying on the outside of the fight.
That's the linear issue.
Right. Honestly, like it happens a lot with a lot of people, myself included. You know, you just gotta get that. You know, I want to get to X place, straight line, best line, right?
Yeah, beeline.
So
as profiles.
Okay, hang on. All right,
I started to amp because I thought he was charging, and then I realized he wasn't, so I got back to heal.
Yeah, honestly, that's fine. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, you know, I think it's one of those things too where I don't mind it. I honestly don't mind it because it's one of those things where you would hope that if he was wanting to push forward, he would call his aggression, whether he thought you had amp to use or not. You know. I guess the only thing, like, if you're ever worried about like making those decisions, either like wait the extra half a second to kind of visually confirm, or just announce I have amp, and then they could echo back like, yeah, do it, you know. But honestly, I get it. Unlucky because again we go forward.
You know, it's not always gonna be a time. Oh, you wanna hear this?
Something else I've noticed, we kind of trail a lot. And I think part of the reason we kind of end up tailing the team a little bit is because it's the wall thing. Like mostly. Right? Because when you're on a wall, you're faster than your entire team.
Yeah.
So it should be relatively easy to kind of keep up.
I'm also probably ult tracking right here. I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
You're
I hit tab.
like holding tab? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
So if you see me just standing still, that's probably
That's probably because you're like, no, I get it. Okay, we do a little bit of a regroup.
Flashpoint unlocks in 10
So,
seconds.
that amp. Do you think that was a good amp or no?
No, because Venture could just dig and I can just wall ride.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
the
I
other thing
could just
too,
do
right? It's a 12-second cooldown. Like, are you going to be fighting in 12 seconds? That's the big question, right? Those kind of like between fight amps. It's like, are we going to be fighting in the next 12 seconds? Yes, no. That's probably is going to determine whether or not we use the amp. The only kind of differences might be like, for instance, if you're taxiing someone back from spawn, you might, you know, get to your target without using amp, and then hit your taxi with the amp to get them back. That's using it for the fight, right?
Right.
But it's also like part of why we don't always speed amp out of spawn, right? Depending on the map and everything. Like we definitely do it like first fight control, because that's essentially the same thing. But if they're stuffing our choke, speed amp out of spawn is not necessarily going to be a thing we do.
Right, like on Ike, you wait till you
sure.
hit the choke.
Bit unfortunate. I mean, honestly, that's probably just a like a team level, like we didn't really properly like regroup, and it let them just surround us, right? So
Yeah, Zach is a ringer for us, so we were practicing because he's playing in our match.
Okay. Do you think there's just a little bit of a maybe a miscommunication or just like
Yeah,
not
like a
everybody on the
synergy
same page
thing.
because
He's just not used to playing with us.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. Not a problem.
Hey there.
I don't have too much to say there because again, like, it's just kind of an unfortunate fight. But we should get a full regroup here. This should be. All right, so we have beat. What are we using the beat for?
I think he called beat to engage here.
Okay.
Because they don't really have. I mean, you could beat orbital maybe, but like they just did it, and they also just did Alari's ult, so we just decided beat to engage here.
Yeah, looking at this, I would say you're if you're looking to counter ult, your two biggest ones are probably going to be what Visor and Sun, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, beat to save a target in the neutral, totally fine. Beat to engage, totally fine. So
I've usually played on teams where we don't beat to engage, so I would love to know if my timing on this is good too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. So I would say no. Because we didn't use it.
Yeah.
So I would say we would probably want to go, let's just drop back and then
We may not have called it here. I know we did.
Oh, you may not have called it. Okay, fair. Okay.
I don't know for sure. I have a really bad memory.
That's fine.
But
That's fine.
sometimes we call it, sometimes we don't. I don't really know,
Okay.
but
Well, let's say we did. Let's say we did, right?
we did. Yeah.
I would say we would use it
I'll
now.
turn it up.
Okay.
Right? And like why is now the right time to beat?
Because we're on top of them,
Hmm?
and we're about to be like engaged in the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And your right has dropped shield to pin in, right? Like, yeah, now there's no backing away. There's no kiting this team can do to waste your beat, you know? And you're not so deep that you're still safe. You're still absolutely safe to beat here. Like if you're worried like about losing your, just getting Ajaxed back here, like this pillar, great cover, you know, beating onto these stairs, depending on like where you press it, you might be able to actually trigger your beat a little bit early as well. So really nice spot for it. But whether we called it or not, that's totally fine. But I think the big thing, right, is a lot of times when you do have your ultimate, it behooves you to think like, okay, how am I using it? Because, again, there's a lot of ways that you can use beat. And the biggest, I would say the biggest thing with it is that like, because Lucio doesn't really heal, right? He doesn't really have a lot of healing. His beat makes up for that fact. So you could definitely use it if you see like two people crit, and you just want to use it. I would say just use it, right? But other than that, like the target focus there, I'd probably shoot the Juno a little bit earlier.
Yeah, finish the Juno.
Do you think that was an awareness thing? Were you just locked onto this turret, or what?
Probably. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd probably like already decided I was breaking turret, and I just like hyper focused on it.
Yep, it happens.
I do that with my beat too. Like I'll make the decision to beat and then do it when I shouldn't have.
Yeah. So
because like I already decided it.
Something else I noticed, and I don't know if this was necessarily an awareness thing as well, right? So when you were here, you were just finishing off the turret, right? Soldier was starting to get shots on you. You break the turret, and I think I'm pretty sure you took a second to like shoot back at him before before just dipping. That would be at this range, I would say especially, this is something where you as a Lucio player want to start running when you start getting attention. Like you could kind of think of it a little bit like a tracer where somebody looks at you and you blink. You don't have to be quite that like committed to being like, I will run away from people who look at me. But when they outrange you and they're giving you attention, you, especially with 225 HP, you kind of want to start thinking about getting away. That's like one of the things I was always really big on in Overwatch 1 was like, I grab people's attention and then I run away with it.
Hey, look, a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, prey on other people's ADD. This is fine. Like, we're at this point, like, we're whatever. This might be where we call beating gauge.
Probably.
We probably didn't have an ult plan previous fight because nothing got used. Possibly we didn't have anything yet, but focus fine. Okay. Amp.
Not? Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah. See. So again, I would say this is a little late, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because we waited until like well into the fight. This beat's fine. It's totally it's a fine beat. I don't mind it at all. The only thing is, it definitely could have been earlier.
Yeah. I
This
was
is
trying not to do it too early because
Yeah.
last time I was told I did it too early, and so I was like, "Don't do it too early.
Okay,
Don't do it too early."
okay.
And then I do it too late.
An overcorrection. And honestly, that's not a bad overcorrection. Like, it was fine. It's just you definitely could have gone. You could have gone sooner. And I think that the thing to remember with it is it's like it's just understanding like when the true engagement happens. Essentially, if your Reinhardt is in melee range of somebody, you're probably good to drop it.
Okay.
That's you know, it would work the same with Ram as well. Like, if your tank is in melee range, you're committed to the fight, and it's time to
Makes
drop
sense.
it. Especially because at that point, right? Because again, a good part of the reason, right, is that Ryan, you know, uses his shield to get close to people. Then once he gets up there, he really could use that beat to start beating them in the face.
Yeah, as his
So.
shield, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's just an 800-point shield or 600-point shield or whatever it is. Can't remember. The numbers change all the time. I don't remember
Right.
anymore.
That's the worst part about ult tracking too, because it's always changing.
Honestly, like, you can kind of shorthand a lot of it, right? Where it's like, did this person use their ult last fight? No. Then they probably will have it next fight after once this fight's over, they'll have it next fight. And then if it's a fast ult like a Junkrat and or there's a long fight, you might be like, well, they might get their ult in the middle of the next fight. Really, that kind of like 2-fight rule is like pretty much on the nose. You could kind of just like ballpark it. It's not that bad.
Except for like pulse.
Sure,
It,
I mean that could be something, but again, like tracking each individual opponent can be very difficult.
Yeah.
How much? Because like right now, when you're ult tracking, you're like holding down tab. You're like carefully looking at each person and being like, you have it, you don't have it. How much time have you spent learning ult tracking? Like, how many? Like, just generally, like, has it been like the couple of months you've been playing on teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably about the same amount of time that I've been playing Lucio.
Okay. So when you started learning ult tracking, did you try to just track everybody, or did you like pick one person and be like, I'm gonna track that guy?
Everybody.
Okay.
I was trying to do the like 2K rule,
Okay.
where it's like if they do like 2K damage healing, you know, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Because I do, like I said, I have bad memory, so I'm
Yeah.
not the greatest at remembering like who used what ult, and so that's
Sure.
just been my easiest way of
So-
doing it.
That's where you have another way to cheat. You could just ask.
Right. I don't always get responses though.
That's unfortunate, and you should yell at people.
Yeah.
You are 100% within your right. If you ask, hey, did Soldier ult like last fight? Because I honestly don't remember. And if nobody says anything, everyone's just like, we're going over here, we're doing this, this is happening. No, tell me if Soldier used ult. Like, you know, you should be getting responses, and if you're not getting responses, you should demand them.
Okay.
You know, within reason, obviously. But yeah, I would suggest maybe if you want to start working on a little bit more of your ult tracking, this is something you definitely can do in comp because it's not character dependent, right? Just try to pick one person on the enemy team. Figure out that one person and just like nail that one person. Just go, okay, I know 100% this guy has it. I know this person doesn't. They have it. They used it. Just focus on that one person. Let everything go to crap. It's fine.
Okay.
And then like as you get more comfortable with it, try to track 2 people. Try to track 3 people. Because trying to track all 5 people, just when you have very little experience, is probably too much. You know. I know when they developed Tetris, part of the interesting thing about that game design is that the human mind can only focus on so many things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Usually about 5 to 7, 5 to 9, somewhere in that range. Which is why there's 10 blocks in Tetris. It's purposely overloading.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as people like get better at the game, it becomes easier and easier. But it's stressful for a novice. And that's the thing here, right? Where because you're doing you have your movement to worry about, your shooting to worry about, your CDs. There's just all of the nonsense happening in your headphones with all of your teammates yelling about all the stuff they need to be doing and communicating. So you're thinking about all of those things, and then you're also trying to keep track of 5 people's actions and ultimates throughout this, right? That's just too much. So just pick one person, figure them out, and then as you feel more comfortable, add more. That's what I would say. Now, for Lucio specific, a little bit here, I feel like we had a bit too much attention. Because we had about 3 people looking in our direction, right? Which is a bit too much. We don't really want that, right? So that's where I would say probably here when you're starting to fight here, I would absolutely use this wall to kind of like peel back a little bit, and then maybe try to use the cover to engage only one person at a time, right? You know, because your Reaper is way better to be in front than you, you know. So. Okay, cool. Cat, we're all tracking.
Time to accelerate. Healing food.
Okay, so we're setting up.
This was a bad engage call right here, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So what about engaging at this choke is bad? Do you think?
We just got too aggro. We basically went to their spawn.
Okay, so you just think we're gonna get too close here. So, well, let's watch a little bit more and see how this kind of plays out, right? We're playing this choke, and then we go in. Okay.
And we also target called the D.Va here, which was kind of weird. I don't know why that was our target call.
Well, we target call the D.Va, and then we don't shoot the D.Va. So, one of 2 things is wrong here. Either what's wrong is we didn't actually all 5 focus unless we called the D.Va now. If we called the D.Va now,
yeah, it was like a late. Like he was like, I want to push in on this, and so then we amped, and then I was like, who are we going on? And then he said D.Va.
Who is he? Who is he in this instance? Who's target?
Our tank.
Your tank. Okay.
He has a tendency of being like, let's amp in on this, and it's like, but who are we amping on? Is what I have to like ask.
That's understandable. So yeah, because if I were to guess, I'm thinking it's because we said we're amping in, and then we amped like kind of into this area, which is good actually. Like honestly, this was potentially a kill here if we just push on it, we actually commit. But you know when you turned around, we saw Bat was crit because we walked past the D.Va. We all 5 of us walked past the D.Va, and she turned onto our Baptiste and missiled him. You know. So that is potentially concerning. I could certainly get that. And then so we think, oh, D.Va's a problem. We gotta kill the D.Va. Well, no, probably not. Right? Probably just keep killing squishies.
Especially
trade
if
out.
she has
Right?
bomb.
Hey, that's another thing. Did we know she had bomb?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I
This
don't
is the
really
memory
know
thing
if I
coming
called
back,
it or
right?
not.
This
Yeah,
is,
like
so,
I don't know if I called it.
I love the replay viewer. It's fantastic. But there are some things you just can't know unless we actually have the VOD, right? There's trade-offs.
I used to record my scrims so we could hear comms too.
Sometimes having the comms is super helpful because then we know exactly what and why happened, right? But we don't have the ability to be like, who was over here? You know, like,
right.
Sometimes we just don't know. So this is also very, very helpful. Okay, so basically our problem here is we kind of commit in. So let's say we didn't do this. Where would you suggest we hold instead, and how can we maybe utilize the map to our advantage in this situation?
Where our Reaper is probably where our tank should have been.
Because you think Ryan should have been in this corner.
Yeah.
And just kind of hard holding this corner here.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right? Because part of the problem with pushing in here, right? They have a longer range comp than we do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it's their spawn is like kind of whatever. I think part of my issue is the fact that we were holding like out in the open in the choke looking for a target to run on.
Mm-hmm.
When we're gonna have to go past their diva, who's good at kind of catching aggression, right? To a degree. And then we have, an Iari who's long range. We have Soldier who's long range. For our purposes, long range. So we got to go through all of that. Now, I mean, Ryan's kind of equipped to do that to some degree, but yeah, we use a lot of resources, right? So yeah, I think honestly, holding this corner, waiting for them to come in, perfectly good. Where would you be if your Ryan is here, right? Which means probably your Reaper is right behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go? Where does your Venture go?
I think I would probably want to be playing that pillar there, maybe.
Back here? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a possibility, but in light of what we said earlier, right? Trying to find angles, this is not an angle because your Ryan is right in front of you. Do you have it? Is there a spot where you could find an angle?
Up through that window to the right, maybe. I don't know where exactly it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Possible. A little long, right?
Right.
But an adjustment might be the crates.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you and your Venture hide crates. Because you could probably get out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they gonna chase you? Like, I don't think so. Like, Diva's not gonna keep up with you if you know you're scouted and you dip. Diva's not gonna catch you. Your Venture is just gonna dig and just go straight back to the team, right? Not a big deal. So this is a possibility. We could possibly play here. This would give us something as they push into here. They go like, oh, there's a Reinhardt here. Okay, well, maybe we can kind of bully our way through, and then you guys have the perfect angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a possibility. I would say like absolutely, like probably. This is probably even higher risk.
Mm-hmm.
But possible.
I get caught out trying to get back.
Actually, this might be even better than crates, honestly, now that I think about it. So this is really only risky if they push through here. Which is a good possibility. Honestly, if I were them, if I was coaching their team instead, and we have your setup here, I'd probably do say like, hey, like Soldier, this is your angle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a possibility that they push you through here. But yeah, maybe playing these stairs, right? Because again, what could you do here? You could even wall ride all the way up here. We're totally safe. We're totally chilling. This is perfect. Or if we don't like that escape route, this escape route is also pretty easy, and we could probably still like bounce out without being noticed too badly. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some possibilities here.
Some options.
Yeah.
I'll turn it up.
And this is just another mechanical thing too, right? Because if we're wall riding, we get onto the Soldier easy. But I like it though. I like this. This is good. You 1v1ing this Soldier is probably still gonna go perfectly fine.
I think I was amping because I knew my Venture was coming with me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't mind it. You're up there, even just to keep yourself up during that was fine. And I also like the fact that you bounced a little on the wall there during the duel. Made Soldier's shots a lot harder. You had to go up and down just instead of just left to right. Bonker head, we get it.
Yep. I do that a lot, and it irritates me every time I'm doing it. I'm like, how did I bump my head again?
It's just a thing, right? We just kind of have to just find ways of getting more time while riding, get more comfortable with it because.
And he's so short too. He shouldn't be bumping his head in the doorway.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. I assume you're familiar with the fact that you get more height when you look up and less height when you look down. Okay. That's another thing too. Just like Winston, right? If you're trying to go through a doorway, a lot of times we look down for minimum jump distance to kind of help with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could do it here, but there is a Yeah, see, there's no... Okay, this is actually kind of sad, because there's no way to... Actually... Okay, here's the adjustment. Here's the adjustment right for this. Here's some tech for you. I don't expect you to pull this off. However, here is the tech. If you kick off here, and you bonk your head, like, on the ceiling here, instead, you actually go at a downward angle.
That's true, yeah.
So if you can keep that in mind, I don't expect you to. That's a pretty advanced one. But technically there is a way to do it. But if you have to instead, probably the easier way of doing it right is like kick off and then just bunny hop here and then start wall riding again, right? That's the easier way of doing it. Okay, I like the amp. It's a little slow, but still, I like the idea.
Watch it. Enemy turret ahead.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned that we're we're all over the place. But like, this is in part just kind of Flashpoint though.
Yeah.
Nice kill. Nice kill. Yeah, I like it.
Pick it up, pick it up.
I don't even mind the Florcio here a little bit because we're in our team. We're trying to make sure our Ryan's out front. It's fine. So that is one thing though. Like even when you're like on the floor. Now, granted, like this is not necessarily the best like area for this, but when you're on the floor, it's even if you're just gonna be on the floor, be near a wall in case you want to decide to like quickly kick off and start going. At least you have the option. Okay. I think the only thing I would say here is this is a time where you could probably do some scouting. Like just kind of like bounce around and be like, hey, anybody here? Because you just killed their tank. Like there's not gonna be a ton of threats out there that are gonna be able to punish you super easily. And even if they do, you get back pretty quickly. And your team can just chill on point.
I think I was calling if they swapped the RAM here.
You're holding tab.
Yep.
Makes sense. Okay, never mind. My criticism of this positioning is a little softened.
I mean, I still need to pay more attention to where I am when I'm doing it, though. I have been killed holding tab before.
Who among us has not been killed holding tab? That person has not played Overwatch, or just never presses tab.
Right, or that.
Honestly, the amp is fine. You need to save yourself. It's a little unfortunate.
Next turn. How's that for sound therapy?
All right, we got our beat back. This is where if we are tracking the soldier roll here, if we know they have the soldier roll, I think holding it for visor is fine. But here's what I would say. So when you're holding ult for defensive purposes, if you see okay, you're holding it for visor. Your Ryan is crit. Your BAP does not have lamp. You use beat. If you're holding it for defensive purposes, a neutral fight that you're losing is a defensive purpose. Just use it. Like, worst comes to worst, what? They're gonna pop visor in response?
Right, yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna, like, have to, like, kite back, then visor. Because, like, what's the point of, like... I don't know. So, yeah. And worst comes to worst like that, you force them to use their resources. Okay. I like it. That's good. I would say that's a pretty darn good beat, honestly. Your Ryan got into melee, you beat. Great. Perfect. I like it. Okay, I stopped liking it.
Because I pulled back.
Go for it. Just go for it. That guy was yours. That was your kill. And you're gonna let your team go get it.
Turning up the heat.
You had that.
Yeah, I'll turn it up. Let's do it
Understandable.
faster.
Again, I guess it's one of those things too. Like, are we going to be in a full-fledged team fight in 12 seconds?
Probably not.
So getting ult charge there, totally fine.
Also,
Especially.
our back was like way behind.
I think we can use
Oh,
some
okay,
good
that's-
vibes.
That is a good point. Oh, he's half. Okay. If he was closer, I would absolutely said like, nah. If he was like 80 on window, I don't care how far your map is. You make him hit those shots from 9 miles away.
Yeah, let him get the ult charge.
But you're good. You're good here. You're good here. We're holding tab. Which is really unfortunate, right? Because we're missing out. You know, like this is where our Ryan and Reaper are out here making a sneaky play,
Yeah.
and we probably want to be with that. You know, I hope we get there quickly. Now, granted, I don't know what your BAP adventure are gonna do here. I mean, I assume they're gonna run away because I don't know if they can do much here. But okay, we get to them.
Not on my watch. This is
Okay,
my
little
favorite
indecision, I
part.
think, overall.
Ah,
Do I need to say anything about that?
No.
Okay. That said, it works out. They don't respect you.
Yeah. Which is funny because I know these guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm friends with all of them. So the fact that they didn't just.
It is shocking they didn't just turn on you and murder you. Then yeah.
Their team came from an org that I used to like help with
Okay.
stuff in.
Yeah,
And
okay.
my team used to scrim them regularly.
Cool.
maybe I'll try something different this time. You want that?
That ram circle. I hate that thing.
All of the heroes that I play is like really annoying too.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I was like, I'm
respect
gonna
the
get that
goodbye.
kill.
I respect it. That's funny. Okay. Rotation amp. Totally fine.
Let's get into a healing rhythm.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, I would say that amp was used for the fight, even though it's before the fight. Like, you wanting to get your team into a good pre-fight position makes a lot of sense. Because that's like part of your advantage is getting position on this slow team,
Right.
especially now that they're on the Ramatra and not on the Devo. That said, I'm not a huge fan of where we've been playing, but that's probably because you're not 100% certain what your team's like plan for this fight is.
Yeah.
So this is where if your Ryan is playing like a hard corner right here like this, it's one of those things where actually, did you guys call window fire strike? Do you remember?
I doubt it,
Okay. Totally fine. Totally fine.
but I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think I was also kind of thinking about capping.
That makes sense.
I mean, I know it's still 11.
You're positioned for it. Your position, and it is pretty close to unlocking. But this might be a situation too where this angle is real juicy. Like you could do a lot from here with your venture. Even though again, your venture is probably not going to need you to like disengage, or even engage for that matter, because it's just so incredibly mobile. But like,
But I could be like booping them.
you could be booping. You could be shooting. Honestly, at this range on a Juno, like you'll do a lot of damage here. You know, and your heal aura is also not bad. You know, it's 16 HPS, but hey, it's maybe an extra 30, 40 health that before Venture needs to dig out, and you're close enough to your Rhine that if you guys call speed, you could totally get to him and speed the team. Like this
Makes
is a
sense.
really good example of like where, because again, getting back to the German Shepherd analogy, a lot of times you're on a leash, right? A lot of times you're going to be leashed to your Reinhardt, but this might be a case where you're more on a leash with your Venture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could easily just kind of go back and forth of this, like who we're actually like supporting her. This is probably one of the best examples of like the perfect time for you, because like I get it, we want to be bundled up with our team, but this is going to be so good for you. That said, I mean, they annihilate past our front line. Sure, like I don't think we had a ton that we could do there.
Taking the objective, not on my watch. Let's get some healing beats going. Let's do it fast.
I don't think I like poking there. I think the thing that might make it okay is the fact that they were chasing 2 of your team members across the map. So maybe taking a little bit, like trying to take attention would be good.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just so long range, and we're playing so wide from cover that I'm just not sure about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That said, I think if you did play closer to cover, I think taking some pot shots there is fine. Again, because you have teammates who are
We'll heal you up.
not really fighting but trying to disengage
Taking the pace.
Yeah.
and or get exit kills if they can disengage.
Turn it up, turn it up.
I'm torn on this amp. What do you think?
Go back a couple seconds. Sorry,
Sure.
I looked away for a second.
So you basically you went back, you taxied your Venture, and you used Speed Amp to get them back.
Oh yeah, I remember thinking about how I probably shouldn't have used it there.
Yeah. I think there can be an argument for it. Flashpoint is such a fast format that every couple of seconds matters that the opponents have the point. So it might not it's definitely not the worst amp I've ever seen, that's for sure. I think it's a reasonable one. But yeah, I think you're right to question it. Because now we're not going to have it to engage.
Right.
Okay, cool. We live that. Hunker down. We have amp in 2. Speed amp. Okay. Your team is being silly right now.
Mm-hmm.
your team's being silly. We need to ignore this guy. I get pinning the nemesis. I get it. But if we just kept going forward ignoring him, like we just kill his backline. So this is a little silly. I think like at most, right? The most that needed to be committed to this would be as you're speeding the team forward, you hear him stomping behind you, maybe you even feel a punch or two. Just 180 boop him and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to get a little bit of that distance. Yeah. I and this might be actually a knock-on effect of the fact that we did use Speed Amp to get our Venture back. So. Okay, we're hiding. Reading. I like the idea of the beat. I don't like where you did it.
Yeah.
Just in full view of Ant Matrix, right? Again,
Right.
just small adjustment. Just beat here.
Right.
You know? I think that might be one of those things where maybe you need to be killed while activating beat a few more times.
I've been Ajax.
Well, maybe you need to have it a few more times to drill it in.
Maybe. Yeah. The worst was I got squished jacked once by a deep remake. That was probably my worst one. It
That's
was embarrassing.
unfortunate.
My coach made fun of me for it.
Hey, yeah. Again, it's gonna happen.
Like, I think he, like, rewound it a couple of times. And
Oh, no. I think being on speed here is probably appropriate.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, what's like the basic rule, right? It's when we're not moving, we're on heels. When we're moving, we're on speed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 100% rule? No. I think we should probably be with our Venture.
Yeah.
Let's see. They have not used
the
Vortex
Venture be
yet.
with me. I don't know. Like, I'm just used to the teams that
Uh-huh.
I've played on. We like to set up height here and have us like split half and half.
I can understand that, but it's one of those things where
She's going on the map
here's
now.
the thing, right? So here's my thought, right? You and your venture are over here.
Hmm.
Even if they don't push you here, let's say this doesn't happen, because I can't believe this is happening. Like, this needs to be punished 100%. And I hope it is going to be punished. But like,
Yeah, I was shooting at him, but
you two,
I should have just been closer.
you two. So this is where your angle is, though. This is because, yeah, you're setting it here. Oh, right here, it's here. Why would I not be over here? Because if we're their adventure here, we go in here and we wrap their backline.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm saying, like, we need to be with our venture here, because our angle is not this high ground. Our angle is either this door if they're really slow, or this door if they're going a little bit faster, and we absolutely catch that backline out. This ram is going to want to turn on us, and then we just say, we don't want that ram. And meanwhile, our ride is just still sitting at this choke, just having a fine old time. You know, ram turns around, tries to peel you guys. Maybe one of his DPS gets a little, like, they get, you know, kind of inty because they're like, oh, like, we're going in, and they run in, and Reinhardt just murders them, you know.
Hmm.
Because that's the thing too. Because sometimes we think like, oh, like what are opportunities for me to take a solo angle? But with the comp you're currently playing, I think you have a lot of opportunities just for a duo angle. Just leash yourself to a DPS instead of your Reinhardt. Anytime your Reinhardt doesn't seem like he wants to be moving, like right now or like in the near future, push to an angle with your DPS.
Makes sense.
So do you win a duel with a Baptiste at this range?
No.
Yeah. Is it okay to take this duel with a Baptiste at this range?
Only because my team's coming up behind him, but it's not ideal.
So that's the thing, right? Right now, I think this is an okay play. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be horrible. But for right now, you're holding his attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you have cover. So if he does land a triple headshot on you, engage. You know? Not the worst thing in the world. I would say one adjustment would be when you see your team about to push into him, I would be speed amping and then jumping straight across. Now, again, this might be a case of like, is this cheating? Not really, because we're going kind of like right past the Juno. You know, no one's to our right side, so we're not really going through the team. But I would absolutely just dive him straight on, and then as he tries to drop down, we boop him back into the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's funny that you can walk on top of other people. It's so weird. Oh.
Enemies attacking the objective.
That could have been big.
You want to hear this?
Fortunate. So. And here's where I would say we come back to the question of what was speed amping your venture back to point worth it?
No.
It actually was.
Oh, okay.
Look at the time. It's 96%.
Oh, yeah.
If you
I was probably thinking more about touching myself than like getting her out of spawn.
And that's the thing is that there's 2 fights ago you speed amped your venture back to your team to regroup. You lost that fight, but it sets you up for this recontest. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if we have our amp, we don't lose the fight and we're still fine. Oh, we don't actually get the recontest.
No, we didn't even get there in time, yeah.
Okay, never mind. Everything's out the window. No, but still, I think it's one of those things where I think it kind of does highlight the fact that, like, hey, maybe saving that couple of extra percentage points matters.
This is unfortunate here. He jumped and shot me here.
That's... You died with amp as well.
Yeah. I was trying really hard not to amp heals on myself. I was trying to just let it regen for a second, and then I was gonna amp, like, away, speed away, but then he jumped and shot me.
And that's where maybe just hitting speed amp, or hitting amp rather on heals, letting it heal you for 1 second, and then using the next 2 seconds to get away.
Swapping.
Even just letting it heal for 2 seconds, get 100 health back, and then use your last second to start wall riding. Because once you start building up momentum, amp speed versus no amp speed, you're pretty much still cruising.
Mhm.
And if you can just break a corner, you're fine. You don't need to like get all the way away from him out of his range. You just need to get around a corner.
Yeah.
They are not.
Okay. Did you know this happened? You got shot from the left side.
Yeah, they called
Okay.
the amp.
I'm fine with the
gauge.
amp forward. I'm fine with the amp forward. I just want to make sure that we were aware of the fact that we got shot from the left.
Yeah.
Okay. It can be tough sometimes. Okay. Works out. A little awkward, but
Yeah.
fine. This is not fine. This is not fine. So was this you tunneling on the Juno again? Because you were getting shot at by this ram like
Yeah.
for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was tunneling for sure.
Yeah. So it's one of the things where I think we need to be a little bit more aware of like when we're taking damage, when we're being looked at, especially. Because like I don't mind you chasing the Juno. I mind where you chase the Juno. I might
Right.
like going straight past a Rematra. Like that's not allowed. If you want to like come here, you go, oh crap, there's a Ramatra, and you want to go to this window instead, and then jump this way, and then kind of come up this way. I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that because then you're breaking his LOS occasionally. You're making him turn his crosshair. You know, that's fine. You get the kill, which is good. We make up for it a little bit. If the Ramatra is any better with his aiming, you're dead though.
Yeah.
So. But I appreciate that you're trying to go for the duels. We're just not going about them in the best way. Because again, like, you know, this Judo's like running around and you're like treating her like you're a Zenyatta versus a Pharah. You know, you're just like shooting projectiles up into the air and like that's not gonna be good. At least like wall ride, get on her level. She can't go up and down.
Yeah.
You know? Like you could make this the ground just by being up.
True.
So we know they're off to the side. We're playing with our Ryan so that we can speed him around this ramp. He pins in, we speed in. I'm totally cool with that. Okay, good. So I'm like on a mission to make sure everybody knows this because I didn't know this for the longest time. But Ramatra ult, it like goes longer if there's people in its thing, and its shield will break LOS to that. So it's like I'm on this giant mission to be like, everybody, shields will make his ult end. So I'm glad he did. I'm glad he like put it up eventually, but I guess there's people kind of behind that, which is unfortunate. I kept it going, and that's all.
Yeah,
that's fine. You did what you could. I think I saw a boop in there. We tried to speed. It's all good.
Next track.
But that is the thing too, right? Because there's something about positioning when the enemy team has a ram, where again walls are like super useful. Let's go back over here. Okay, so we're fighting this area, right? Our Rhine is here. He gets punched. If we're here, we also get punched.
Yeah.
You know, so this is where like if we're here, not only does it give us a little bit of a better view of what's going on, but our Ryan's is in our field of view, and we're not getting punched. So this is where I think you really want to try to like find ways to make getting more practice wall riding fun. You know, I totally get you don't want to ride around an empty map or do Lucio parkour for 20 minutes a day, but like at the very least, just play quick play and like just one trick Lucio and just don't care about your team. And just wall ride around, you know. Just play Flores, Lava, and quick play, and you know, just duel people.
Especially widows, those are fun to duel.
Oh, super fun because they stand still and are easy to kill. Yeah.
I don't know. Are you familiar with Commander Amber on Twitch?
No,
TikTok?
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen.
She's she's like a Reinhardt main who like her thing is just like penning people off the map.
You know, it's fun.
Yeah, no, she's not like high, you know, Elo. I think she like peak diamond maybe, but
hey, if you can be entertaining by pinning people off the map, it doesn't matter what your rank is.
Right, exactly. But I actually ran into her warming up for a scrim one day, and she was like, because I'm in, like, I've been in her streams or whatever. She was like, "Pitch, stop redditing my teammates." I was like, sorry.
Had to read it harder.
Yeah.
We want to be up there. Okay.
I was trying to.
Yeah, these stupid ledges are really irritating.
They're
This
so
is where
annoying.
the corner hop comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you come here, you go like bop, 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 and we're cooking.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Both of their supports were up there, and then so I
Mhm.
was like trying to climb up there to try to maybe boop them, but then they called they weren't up there anymore, and I was like, good, because I can't even climb up there anyways.
So the other way too, instead of doing the corner climb, there's another way you get up there too, right? If you just kind of come over here,
Yeah.
kind of pop up on this, it's not too hard to get up over here.
That's
Right.
true, yeah.
You just like there's a little bit of a playground over here. This could kind of like can work for kind of getting extra height. Like there's ways to like to make some of this work. Like
To just not
you
be
know.
linear.
yeah, right. Doing
Oh, I
third-person
did get up
cameras for some
there.
reason.
I did.
You do, yeah. Just when it wasn't useful anymore.
Yeah.
So, which hey, we take that. Oh, nice cancel. Okay, okay. I like it. I appreciate that you didn't boot him out of your hammer range. I might have done that.
I've probably done it before.
All right. Okay, so I would say probably like the biggest thing I've seen is just get more practice while riding.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, again, if you don't feel like playing it comp, again, I understand. Go in quick play and just never touch the ground.
Okay.
You'll get lots of experience, and that also will hopefully also help you kind of hone your 1v1s. Also, if you don't want to do quick play, deathmatch. Wall ride
True.
all over the place, deathmatch, hone your 1v1s. So there's two options for you. And then yeah, as far as like getting more aggressive and like trying to take some angles when you can, the big rule for that is if your Ram or your Rhine are in a spot where they're going to be relatively stationary for at least the time being, especially if you have a DPS who's angling. Angle with your DPS. If you don't have that and you're in a comp where you're playing like May Reaper and for some reason your May or your Reaper are not angling, because honestly May can take angles really well. Reaper can take some close range angles perfectly fine. But if your DPS are for some reason in a situation where they don't want to be angling, you can absolutely go take a solo angle. The biggest thing is that when you're playing Lucio in Brawl, you want to be close enough to your core that you can speed them around when they're going to be making amp in calls. But when they're not wanting that right now, you should be looking to go elsewhere. If you're not leashed to your Rhine, try to leash to a DPS.
Okay.
Because you're going to be super, super helpful to a Cass, Venture, even a May, Reaper. Doesn't matter. Every single close range DPS is going to close to medium range DPS is going to love you off angling with them. Other than that, I think for the most part, your amp usage looked pretty fine. We had a couple of ones where we questioned it, but I think overall amp usage is pretty fine. Beat usage was again mostly fine. I know we're working a little bit on some of our timing, and we had some very specific tweaks that we might look for, but overall fine. So yeah, I don't know. Was there anything else that you noticed that you want to be working on as well?
The passing on when I am like trying to go for somebody.
Yes. Yeah, no cheating. No going through the enemy team. Clock orientation. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, feel free to shoot any my way anytime, and if anytime you want to review, just shoot me an DM. Okay.
All right, sounds good.